Hi, I'm Lori and I love books. Today's tea I got in my June Classics of the Month Club, and it's the tea from Toad Hall, and it's a luxury chamomile, and it's got like a very pale color, and it's like the first taste is kind of fruity, and then like the aftertaste is chamomile, so it's a very nice light flavored tea. So today I'm going to go over my June reads, not including the ones I read on my book venture to the Grand Canyon on the train. But one of the books that I had ordered for that book venture came afterwards, and that was The Dragon Train by Peter T. Stone. And I thought this would be a fun book about a dragon being an engineer and driving a train, and it's not. It's about a dragon being captured and being turned into a steam engine, and then eventually he dies from starvation because nobody remembers there's an actual dragon in the train. And I found it very depressing, and I don't recommend it, and I'm probably not going to keep this one. And then I grew up reading Hardy Boys, and so I found this gorgeous book, The Mysterious Case of Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys by Carol Kismaric and Marvin Heffernan. And it has a lot of gorgeous illustrations with that kind of 50s style. And it also has let me see, a lot of history and culture, and how the history and culture of the time influenced the books. And it also kind of goes into detail of the different characters and their characteristics and the differences between the Hardy Boys books and the Nancy Drew books. And it was a lot of really good information that I didn't know. So I really did enjoy that one. And then the other Hardy Boys book I read was The Hardy Boys Adventures, number 12, The Madman of Black Bear Mountain by Franklin W. Dixon. And this is the brothers, Joe and Frank, go to Black Bear Mountain on a school trip to study nature and with their classmates and a teacher, and basically everything goes wrong from the start that the helicopter lands. So it is a fun adventure, and I did enjoy it. And then I spent the rest of the month of June reading poetry, because I had tried to read Madame Bovary, and I'm just couldn't read another historical fiction classics book after The Mayor of Casterbridge that I read in May, which was so disappointing and so negative. So I needed a break from reading that, and then I wanted something that I could just set down and not have to keep reading. So I spent June reading poetry books. And the first one is The Lost Spells by Robert Macfarlane and Jackie Morris. And this book is very beautifully visually, with these gorgeous like watercolors, I believe they are. And I have notes today, which I do love the artwork, and I love nature poems a lot. I think the art kind of overshadows the poems a bit in this book, but it is very, very visually beautiful, and so I do recommend it if you love artwork. And then I read Nocturnal by Wilder. It starts with poems about dusk and then ends with lucid dreams, which I liked the lucid dream structure of the poems the best out of the book, because it like has the poem and then it ends with hide, And then on the second page it says "and seek," and then there's another poem. And so it's kind of like connecting two poems together. And I haven't ever really seen that structure before, so I was really enjoying that part of this book. And then I have Soft Thorns by Bridget DeVoe. And these are poems about going from a difficult time to healing. And let's see. And there's some like simple illustrations, and then this one's about time will either heal you or kill you. So if you're reading this, you are healing, I promise you. And then we are not broken. So they're fairly short poems, but they are impactful. And it does deal with some things that might be triggering, like abusive relationships. And so, but it was very beautiful. The next poetry book is a children's poetry book called You Read to Me, I'll Read to You by John Ciardi. And this is like silly poems for a child and either a parent or a teacher or an older sibling or older child to read together. So one poem's very like short, and then the next poem's longer. And so this is the like short poem for the child to read, and then the longer poem for an older person to read, and then has like lots of silly illustrations and playful illustrations. And so it's an interesting structure. I just some of the poems I didn't like, but it I liked the concept more than I liked the poetry. And then okay, and then Someone Cares, the collected poems of Helen Steiner Rice. I think she there's a picture of her. So I think maybe 70s. And these are all poems about Christian being thankful, believing in Christ, and different types of love as well. And there were poems that I liked, but overall I found this very repetitive. Like most of the poems either rhymed the first word and or the first line and the second line, or they rhymed the first line and the third line. And I get that it's collected works, but it just was very repetitive with the structure, and then it was repetitive with the concepts as well. And so I did have a little trouble reading this. I did find some poems that I liked, but it was a little hard to read through. But I did, the part I liked the best was that it had like a statement from the author, from her, and it's "This I Believe." And so I really enjoyed this part at the end of the book, hearing like why she wrote these poems. There's but it was a little small, or the amount that I liked versus the amount that I found difficult to read. But I am glad I tried it. The last book I read in June was The Poems of Creatures Large and Small. I got this for my second book venture to the zoo, to the Phoenix Zoo, and I did start reading it while I was at the Phoenix Zoo. This is edited by Gail Harvey. And this collection has a lot of poems from different authors, like Walt Whitman, Emily Dickinson, and William Blake. There are a lot of poems about dogs and other families, or sorry, other animals. And let's see. And my favorite was Battle Bunny. There's the little bunny. And it's about, let's see, a white rabbit that took refuge among the skirmishers in the breast of the corporal on the Battle of Malvern Hill in 1864. So it was based on a real event. And I just, I'd never heard of that. And so I really enjoyed that. But they, you know, have more exotic animals like elephants as well, and birds. So it and insects as well. So I really enjoyed this, even though it was kind of small. It had a lot of good poetry in it. So that was all the books I read in June. What did you read in June? Let me know in the comments below. Or do you have a favorite poetry author that you think I should try? Like and subscribe if you want to. And I hope you have a lovely time reading. Bye!